Luke, looks like you got some grey beards going on there too.
Gray in the beard, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was laughing because on Matt's Instagram story, he was posting some gray in the beard, and Matt's obviously a couple of years older than me, so I was like, man, you're only getting gray in your beard now. I've had it since I was about 32 or something like that. A couple of years. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I want a bit more. I don't like it's just like one little tiny patch. I want like a bit more.
You know, spread out like the proper
Yeah.
silver beard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those silver beards are cool.
I'm
It's
getting
way
there,
better
man.
than do you ever see guys that are like brunette and they have ginger beards?
Yeah, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No,
Yeah.
you don't want that.
But a bit of salt in the pepper is always good, you know?
I agree. Yeah, no, I'm on there for a while. I just haven't been able to truly face them and realize that it's actually there, you know. So I'm finally embracing it, just getting older. 39 a few days ago. Anyway,
Uh,
man, you flew to Japan over the last 24 hours. Osaka Marathon on deck this weekend for Luke.
yeah.
How was the trip over? I saw some little cheeky business class photos on Instagram.
Yeah. It's good. This is the life of a influencer that you can talk to.
Big dollars,
Oh,
big dollars.
that's it. All the sponsorships. No,
Yeah.
no, it was good. It was good. It was really smooth. But at the beginning, it was trending to not be smooth because we just scanned everything and we were just about to go through the jet bridge, and the lady stopped us and was like, "No, I have to deplane everyone. Delayed for an hour." So I was a little bit worried, but after that, no, everything went smoothly. Made up some time in the air, made the connection to Osaka no problem, and the flight was grand. Took some melatonin, slept well. Um, Trying to think any other highlights. I mean, it was just good. And then I was saying this to you before, but like obviously because we were a little bit delayed, we were pushing it tight for the Osaka connection. And just like the Japanese people they're just so different to them in America, especially in customer care. Like these Japanese ladies at the ANA desk, they could tell we were in a rush, and they literally started sprinting towards us. Like they jumped out from behind their desk and started sprinting towards us and grabbing our bags to help us. And then we go through the security desk, and there's some lady with a sign, Osaka, and we're like, yeah, that's us. Pulls us out of the line, skips the queue, like it's just I just love Japan, and more so it's like the Japanese people, man. They're the best. Love it.
They are the best. I was sharing my side of the story with Luke though. I've got, I've obviously got pretty mixed feelings about Japan. Most people listening to this will probably know what happened last year. I loved Japan before I went there. But there's no perfect country out there. Japan's probably got to be pretty close. But I think the turning point in my mind was when I was being prosecuted for bringing in half a gram of a plant cannabis. I liked framing it like that because the fact that the plant's banned in the first place is what I find quite fascinating. But I'll never forget when I was talking to the narcotics officer on like day two, when I was sitting at this big desk and all these policemen everywhere looking down on me like I was some big time warlord, drug lord, you know. And he goes, I said, look, man, in the US, this stuff's like, all the science is out now. Obviously got a translator and everything. I was like, this stuff's pretty harmless. Like the science is out. It's like, it was only banned in the first place because, the States cracked down on it because they thought it was bad back in the 50s, but it's not. And I said, why is it still banned in Japan? Why are you so strict about it? And his response turned me totally off Japan. He goes, Japan's just very slow to update their laws. And I was like, okay, so you even know that this is like all a bit harmless, but we're just doing this whole big thing anyway. Anyway, look, yeah, I love Japan in general, but you were actually saying that you had a funny situation with them being right down the line with the law and following every single
Yeah,
rule, no matter how dumb it is.
100%. It's like it makes sense. It makes sense why there are laws that don't make sense like that. And what I mean by that is like, I went down from my hotel to get to Osaka Castle. If you want to, a good little loop for work, or you go to Osaka Castle.
Great loop.
Get there, yeah, it is a great loop. But get there, it's about 5K from my hotel. So you have to run on roads and stuff. And of course, in America, that's fine. But like here, it's like there was literally, I'm ripping it across the road, and right there at a pedestrian crossing, there's a guy waiting, because it has the picture of the red man,
The red
and he's
man.
waiting for it to go, the red man, and he's waiting for it to go green. And there's there's
Ah,
literally,
okay.
that's not even funny.
No, just the red
Uh,
man. Like the fact that we have to obey the red man. It's just funny.
I know. But like the road itself, I would get it if it was like a massive like highway or something. The road itself is no wider than I am tall. Like
Yeah.
it would take him 2 seconds to cross that road. And there was not a car in sight. And he was just stood there. And he could tell the way he was dressed in his bag and everything. He's going to work. Like he has places to be. And he's just like, I'm not moving until the red man turns green. And
That's
I'm
so
just
Japan.
reaping. I know. And I'm just ripping across the road and he's looking at me like, what a scumbag, like he's and it's crazy. But I say all that to say, like, I mean, it makes sense. Like they're just so strict with the rules and the laws and everything. It's just it doesn't matter how draconian it is, how silly you might think it is, as long as it's a rule, they're obeying it. And it's like they have no idea why you would disobey it or how someone could disobey it. It's just like you could tell it's just not in their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I love the US because people just yeah, they're pretty loose about those sorts of things. And Australia is as well. I feel like Australia's pretty got a pretty good yeah. There's no perfect country out there. I feel like Spain and Portugal are close. But Japan's really cool in a lot of ways. I love the way Japan have kept their cost of living down, just due to the way that they went negative interest rates for a while there, and then well, they've got an aging population, so they've got a whole beast of a problem to deal with there. But it's pretty cheap over there, hey? Mostly because they've devalued their currency and kept everything pretty
Yeah.
cheap. It's cool. It's really nice for like an Australian or especially US dollar holder to be there right now. Like if you look at that AUD USD, USD JPY graph over the last 10 years, it's like, holy shit, Japan's like 60% off.
It's crazy. It is crazy because it's not exactly a third world country down there,
No, no.
It's weird. Yeah, you would think like with that kind of a difference in the currency, pardon me. Yeah, you would think you're walking around like it's very much first world, and even with a lot of ways they're even more advanced, than the Western world. But it's I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining. It's great.
Yeah, awesome. Luke's got a little bit of an internet challenge, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're pretty smooth. When you're traveling, internet can be a bit of a challenge, but we'll do our best. Okay, man. We really enjoyed Jake ran to Japan's video. You said it's the best video he's ever put out.
Yeah. So I don't often say this because, I've talked about YouTubers and like the way a lot of them come across um, is what really gets me. And he seems like a really sound lad. And that's why I like his videos and I'm invested and I want him to do well. Not just in his races, but in his actual videos, I like to see that he's successful and stuff. Because he seems like a good lad. But a lot of his videos are not exactly my style. The way they're just a little too edited. They're not quite as raw as a lot of the things I like. But that last video, the rant to Japan, as he called it, man, I was locked in every step of the way. And I was literally like those two beavers in the meme, where he's holding the other beaver back. He's like, hold on, let him cook,
Yeah,
bro. Like just like I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He's literally just saying pretty much a whole lot of stuff that you and I always say,
yeah,
either to each other or it's a lot of the stuff that we talked about. Remember, we did that episode a while back about the enhanced games and the differences and the similarities and whatever else. Um, but it's it was interesting. It was definitely very interesting. For the main part, in that, like, you could tell he's annoyed. You could tell, like, he's genuinely annoyed that the sport is it's just so corrupt and it's just
mm,
annoying that there's really not a lot being done. And then to get into specifics, like what I really agreed with him, what I've always thought as well, he was kind of alluding to, these people at the top, whether it's a Paula Radcliffe, a Mo Farah, um, like a Mo Farah or a what's the American that was with at the Oregon Project with Mo Farah?
Galen Rupp.
Galen Rupp or Eliud Kipchoge, or Kiptum before he passed. Like there's certain people that are just so far ahead and so important to their brands, to their sponsorships, to certain athletics that it just feels like they're never gonna get caught.
Mm.
And the idea of them being unclean is pretty likely as well. It's pretty probable, but you're never going to know unless there's like a Lance Armstrong situation where people are just whistleblowing.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. I completely agree with Jake's points there, Jake Barraclough's points in all, especially that part of it. Like I've always thought that. Always thought that. Especially about Kipchoge. Like as much as like I think he's great for the sport. He seems like a lovely lad. He does a lot, philanthropic, all that good stuff. The idea that he's not juicing, that's highly unlikely, especially so many people around him, close to him. So many of them have been caught.
Look,
but he's not.
It's unfortunately we do have to be a little bit careful about what we say here, because shout out to Nick, who's actually racing Osaka this weekend, who our coach. He reached out to me after Jake's video and said he better be a little bit careful about the legal side of things. But I think you're really onto something there about what you're talking about with Kipchoge. A lot of his training partners have tested positive. A lot of them. That's a little bit hard to wrap your head around when he's actually faster.
He's the best one. And he was only getting better with age.
I know.
Yeah. Like his face, like you would see these pictures of him, his face is just battered. He looks like an old man. And he's just like, 2 hours flat, no problem. It's just like, really? Okay.
What's his quote again? His slogan? No human is limited.
Kipchoge? Yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, that's it though, right? Yeah. It kind of takes us back. I hate bringing them up, but it kind of takes us back in a similar sense to like Truett Hanes. As long as you have enough people invested in your brand, you put that stuff out there. It's only pain. No human is limited. I love the world loves me. You put all that stuff out there, people are gonna want to see you succeed, and they're not gonna want to probe into other areas. Versus Lance Armstrong, right? The main reason he got caught is because he's the opposite. He was a dickhead. He seemed like he was a horrible person, and all he cared about is winning. And he would cut ties and burn bridges and just destroy anyone in his path, teammates or not, And then sure enough, people are like, why would I want to invest in this guy? Like, yeah, we're all juicing, but screw this guy. This guy's awful, versus Kipchoge, all these other people, lovely people, they kind of not like, I don't know if that's intentional, if like, I don't know, but it is interesting, the contrast,
It is. Yeah, I got a little bit demotivated to keep producing content around pros for this reason. I learned a few things which I'm going to keep mostly to myself, but yeah, especially in Kenya and Ethiopia. Jake made some good points. He said if you get caught, you're basically failing an IQ test. Thought that was pretty smart. Yeah. He was just basically saying it's super easy to get away with it. Zane Robinson, Kiwi runner, 59, 53 maybe, 59, 40 something. He ran that back in like 2015, pre-super shoes. He definitely got his cocktail right then. He came out and basically said, he's been living in Kenya for a long time. He just said everyone's doing it. Yeah. Except Special K.
Right. He did kind of like a semi whistleblow. Like he basically said like everyone's doing it, but I'm not going to say names, right?
Well, he can't say names because he lives there, right? He doesn't want to be woken up in the middle of the night with a sledgehammer in his face.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why whistleblowers have a hard time coming forward. It's not because like it's usually because of like serious repercussions, yeah, like
Yeah,
regardless of the sport. So I get that, but I remember he did say enough to say basically like, here, look, the only reason I'm doing it is because everyone's doing it, you
yeah,
know? And that's not, he's not the only person to say, like, there's been so many documentaries about, Kenya. And so it was interesting though, we're getting into the weeds now about Kenya specifically and in East African countries. Like, and his point, and I do agree again, like pretty much everything I was saying was like fire, facts, legend, boom. Like he was pushing it. But I was like, his main point about the difference as well between like what's happening in Kenya versus what happened in Russia is that obviously in Russia it was like this state-led, very orchestrated, organized thing, whereas in Kenya it's more of a free-for-all and just part of the culture. It's just like we all do it, but it's not as organized, it's not as orchestrated. It's just like everyone does it.
yeah,
So let's just keep, so that would take you to the point of like how can we do like a countrywide ban like we did with Russia if it's not, you really can't.
you can't do that.
Because
And
you can't. Because it would be unfair. Because to say that 100% of Kenyans are doping would be not only unfair, but it'd be inaccurate. Like there has to
yeah, that's
be,
not true. They're not all doping, not all of them.
they're not all. They're not all. So you can't do a countrywide ban like that. You can't ban the whole of the athletics and so because I have, of course, seen people make that argument like the whole country needs to be banned. It's like it's not the same. Like it's not the same thing.
Jake was a little bit factually off the mark talking about that because he said, "Oh, Russia had only this amount of cases and Kenya's had way more." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's because in Russia, the Athletics Federation were covering up the cases, so they
Yeah,
weren't being tested positive. They were actually the Athletics Federation of Russia got caught systematically creating a doping program, so they didn't
yeah.
have many cases. That would be like saying some country doesn't have many COVID cases. That's because they're not testing."
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Actually, yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly, yeah. You're not going to have a whole bunch of cases because that was the whole point of their scandal.
Yeah,
They
I know.
were taking out the bottles and putting in duds and whatever else. Versus in Kenya,
There's no
they're just
systematic issue. Yeah.
no.
Look, I messaged Jake about it. He wrote back and said, "Cheers, bud. The Kenyan Federation may not be orchestrating the doping program like Russia, but I feel like it's completely out of control and they're not exactly trying hard to stop it."
Yeah, yeah, but what do you do if you can't do a nationwide ban? Like what do you do? Because you and I talked about this before, and you know Kenya way better than I do. Like you go out there and you slap them with like no whereabouts bans because it's just so hard to find them a lot of times. It's
Dude,
like
the future is the
yeah, it's
enhanced
very
gains.
different.
I've been saying it for years. Just,
Yeah. And again, and we said the same thing when we talked about the enhanced game, same thing that Jake was saying in terms of like all these people are going to rock up, especially at the beginning, and they're going to be like non-Olympians, and they're going to run much slower times than
yeah,
Olympians.
are going to
And
be similar.
what's Seb Coe going to say is like, look, it's because the talent is like, no, 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 no. It's because the people over in the Olympics might be more talented, but they are also juiced up to the gills. And he doesn't want to hear that. He
He
doesn't
doesn't
want
want
to
to hear
hear
that.
that at all.
Seb Coe, the World Athletics CEO who ran 141 for 800 back in the 80s pre Super Shoes. That's a bit impressive, isn't it?
It's very juicy. Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Gotta be careful here. This does go out to a lot of people. Okay, he actually also spoke about Mo Farah. Never failed a drug test. Do you know a lot about that? The whole Nike Oregon project? That's interesting. Alberto Salazar going down, but no one actually going down, like the athletes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good bit. Yeah, yeah. He was obviously your Salazar was a good runner in his own right, and then he was put in charge of the Nike Oregon project, and he had like Kara Goucher and Galen Rupp and Mo Farah and all these people, and then he got caught, he being Salazar, the coach, he got caught for having these, protocols with a doctor out of Houston, actually, of all places, to do all this doping and stuff like that. And so he got banned, but I think some of his athletes might have got caught, but most of them didn't. Like I
None of them.
know the big ones did. Like Mo Farah definitely didn't. Galen Rupp never did. Kara Goucher, I don't think she ever got popped
She was a
either.
whistleblower. Goucher was a whistleblower.
She was one of the whistleblowers along with our man, what's his name that you love? Steve
Steve
Magnus.
Magnus, Stevie boy.
Steve Magnus. Yes, 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 yes. And but yeah, I mean, they were all open. Like,
Yeah.
and Mo Farah even came out afterwards and he kind of like put himself in it. He was talking about doing that intravenous or intramuscular L-carnitine thing and something else, and they were like, everyone was like, Mo, don't like reel that back in. He was like, oh no, I just did like the allowable dose or something, and he kind of like didn't realize what he was saying. It was like really weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All again, very, very strange. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird, right? Because if you're like Rory Linkletter spoke on his Out and Back podcast a while ago, how like if you have these agents and these coaches and stuff like a Salazar, that it's just so obvious that they're doping their athletes, even if their athletes aren't doping, it's hard not to assume that they're all doing it, and it would almost be fair to make that assumption, um, because it should be incumbent then upon you as an athlete. Most athletes think, and I would agree. Like here, my coach is dirty. Like he's even if I'm not doing it, like I need to remove myself from this. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, how are you going to just keep training when I'm like, oh yeah, he's doping other people, but not me, man. I'm clean. I'm good, and I'm gonna stay. Like that's weird, you know?
I'll play a little snippet from Jake's video that wraps up this pretty well. Here we go.
Need like an hour-long video. I need a documentary, a 2-hour documentary to properly get into this. Also on Kipchoge, he's obviously never been popped. It would be impossible for
Sorry, this is the Kipchoge part.
too. But have a look how many of Kipchoge's training partners have been done for drugs. It's crazy. And we're meant to believe that he's that much quicker than them. So, like, something's not adding up. How
There's another part here about Salazar. I can't remember where it is though. He does it pretty well.
his training partners here, all world class, training in the same situation.
Sorry, I got this wrong. Let me try and find the right point.
And the same upbringing, the same coach.
Sorry, I can't find the right place. I put the wrong bookmark, but he's basically saying Galen Rupp is known as a hero in the United States. And he's got, if you just look into it a little bit, he's got like 15 of those TUEs. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another big one. Yeah.
Sorry, he says it really well at some point, but I wrote down the wrong timestamp.
That's it. Yeah, the therapeutic use exemptions. So it's like, like people will use like inhalers or something because it has like some steroid in it, or people will use and they don't have any of those conditions. Like there's nothing wrong with them at all. But their coaches, their doctors and stuff will find roundabout ways. Yeah.
Dude, when I was in Boulder, I heard about a few groups doing this. One specifically with a few Aussies. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't one with a few Aussie middle distance runners. I didn't get any proof or anything, but I heard it quite a few times. It wasn't good. This is why I sort of went away from it all. I just was like, enhanced games, I think, is the future, man. What do you think?
I've always said that. I mean, it makes sense. Like, and I mean, some people, the last time we spoke about this, some people pushed back on us and they were like, oh, it'll be a free for all, dangerous, this, that, and the other. And it's like a lot of that stuff, it's just not, it's not like when people think of dangerous performance enhancing drugs, they're thinking like, here's a perfect example, right? And here's a movie I'd actually recommend to a lot of people. It's this movie called Magazine Dreams, right? It follows this young, he's kind of got like he's got a few screws loose. But he's a bodybuilder, an amateur bodybuilder, and it just goes into that world, right? And he's taken all these mad drugs, like his body's blowing. You know, he got hit by a car, and then the doctors are like, "Here, man, how long have you been taking these steroids and stuff? Like your liver's in bits, this is in bits, that's in bits, whatever." Like the performance enhancing drugs in running and stuff that all these runners that we're talking about and the ones that have been popped, whatever, the stuff that they're taking is it's not the same. It's way different. There's so many ways now where doctors and stuff can monitor it. You can make sure you're staying within the allowable doses, where you're getting a performance boost and this, that, and the other. And look, I get it. You know, there's so many people that are probably listening to me say this and being like, no, it's a disgrace. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Like, and I get it. Like, I get it. So many people say that about caffeine. So many people said that about super shoes when they came about, carbon plates. So many said, you know, I get it. It's different, of course. But at the end of the day, like, if they're all doing it, and I wouldn't even do it, you know, because of the cost and this, that, and the other, and the benefits that I would get. But I'm talking about the people that show up to the line at, say, the Olympics or a world championship or a world major, where they have the ability to podium and make some serious money. Like, it's just not fair that they show up to the line clean, having worked their bollocks off, and 5 or 6 people next to them are just juiced to the gills. And they're trying to go with them step by step. They're trying to push up the Newton Hills in Boston. They're trying to push in a warm summer Olympics marathon. And they just don't have what the person next to them has, not because of talent, not because of hard work, but because of that extra juice that they have flowing through them. You know, it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. And if you just have the enhanced games where they allow it, then everyone's on the same keel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I wasn't super sure what spurred Jake on to do this. His thumbnail was funny because he was like Jake versus the Kenyans. And I think one misconception that people have is that the doping helps you like significantly. It actually does. Most things do not help you that much. You only have to watch Icarus to realize that about EPO and testosterone, I think he was taking. If you take a big cocktail, it might help you by, I don't know, I've got no clue, but from what I understand, based on what Renato Canova told me in Kenya, and based on a little bit of a ChatGPT search, it'll help you by maybe a minute or two. So I don't know what stirred Jake on to do it. I mean, because he's not exactly competing against those guys, and he won't be, I don't think, ever, in terms of like at their standard. But I like it that he's done it. There was a little bit of a Strava debate going on, and I was trying to point out it's a lot more nuanced than people realize. And there was a few people posting in there saying cheating is cheating, though, no matter what you look at, no matter how you look at it. But I'm just like, man, pretty much most of the guys at the top doing something. So, you know, it's hard.
It is hard.
I want to ask you in a second. I'll let you think about this. I'm going to talk about something while you think. What do you think the real marathon world record is? And while you think about that, I just want to say in Kenya and Ethiopia, a lot of the doping that goes on is not really the athlete's fault, and they also are not aware of it. And you have to also think, for a lot of Kenyans where they live in very low quality of life areas, so very, you know, some of them don't even have electricity, right? I mean, you only have to go to Iten to realize that. Ben is running, can back us up there. Some of the places people live in are very low. You know, they don't really know how to access the band list. It's not that easy for them to do that. A lot of them don't have phones, especially, okay, once they get quite good, they'll have the money to get that stuff. But a lot of it's actually management that sort of bring them in. They're clueless, that they're very, you know, very naive and very easily influenced. And the athletes say, look, you just have to follow our program. We'll give you a little bit of sponsorship money. You just have to take these vitamins. And that's how it goes. And they just follow them because they've got no hope. And so, yeah, it's a tricky one.
I know you've had that opinion for quite a while. Like, you've been there, you know it.
Oh, it's different with Kipchoge, right?
And I know you have a soft spot for Kenya and Kenyans. I've always disagreed with you about this. Like, I don't think they're as ignorant as you're saying.
You haven't been there, though.
I do. No, I know. But I do think course, there's a lot of pressure. I definitely think there's a lot of pressure, especially from agents, coaches, stuff like that. Like, hey, you have to do it. Everyone's doing it. This is going to change your life, change the lives of your family, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But that's not ignorance. That's like, I'm gonna roll the dice. And I find it hard to believe that they're that thick, for lack of a better term, that they're just like, oh, I had no idea. I had no idea that taking this EPO was
Well,
and especially because there's been so many stories in Kenya that I know they're aware of people getting popped, and even some stories of people dying from the stuff, from taking a bad cocktail, and there's no way that so many of them, especially at the top, when they're trying to break through the top, there's no way that they don't know that stuff, that they don't know those stories. No matter how bad their internet is, how poor they are, like that stuff. And especially if running's your life, it's your life when you're over there. They're gonna know about that stuff. And
a lot of people that you got some good points. I think going there and immersing yourself in the groups would give you a slightly, not a different perspective, but just like a little bit of insight. But you're right, you're 100% right. But Len, a lot of the time people take stuff and they don't actually realize that it's on the ban list. Like a lot of people.
That's different. Yeah, I agree with you there. What you're about to say now, that's a bit different. If you're taking like some pre-workout thing and it has something in it, like I don't bloody know, name something and it has in there and you didn't know. Yeah, that's a bit different. I get that. But I think that's a different point to what you're saying about the Kenyans with the EPO and the whatever.
Dude, when I was in Kenya once, my asthma got really bad to the point where I had to go to the hospital. Like I couldn't run. And they were about to give me a medication called prednisone, very cheap. You can buy over the counter, a steroid.
Yeah.
I asked them, like, is this okay for me to take as a runner? And they're like, not sure. We looked it up, banned.
Yeah.
I was about to have it unknowingly. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting, but
yeah,
nah, it was good. I mean, I like that he did it. And at the end of the day, your mate was saying something about legally, or there's nothing, because at the end of the day, like what could happen, right? Speaking as a lawyer, what could happen? Someone goes after him for what? Defamation, and then like, in order for that to happen, you have to show damages. How did he damage them? He just said a few things like there's no damages there. And even if there were damages, the best defense to a defamation suit is the truth. And I'm pretty sure he's accurate about what he's saying. So I don't think a lot of those people are going to want to push that.
These cases all come down to how you word things and how it's always rare. Yeah. That's why we have to refer to Sebco's results as juicy.
Juicy. Yeah. He's a funny guy. Yeah.
I think back then in that era though, in the 80s, it was the wild, wild west, right? Like there was not even, I don't think WADA even existed then.
Isn't the 80s when isn't the 80s when the women's 800-meter record was set?
Yeah.
By that very juicy female. That, like if you slapped the picture of the Rock, his face, if you slapped his face on her body, you'd be like, oh, the Rock is ripping 800s.
Poor Keely.
Oh, not a chance. Yeah, she's an absolute monster. Where's she from again?
Like Yugoslavia or something.
Yeah.
Country that doesn't exist anymore. Like East Germany or Yugoslavia or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I think she passed away shortly after that. I'm not sure. Yeah, man. It's been a funny history of the sport. And what do you reckon the men's real world record is? Conor Mance, maybe?
Man, as soon as you said that, I was like, who's American? Who has the American record? Conor Mance. There's the word. Look, I don't know. I don't. At the end of the day, I don't get too bummed out by it because I know everyone's dope and I like running. I love running, but I'm not so invested in it where, like, when people saw what's her name that ran 209 at Chicago?
Chepngetich.
Chepngetich, pardon me. I always mess up her name. Like when she crossed the line, so many people were like just the day of when she crossed the line, so many people were like, this is bollocks. Like, I hate this. So many people were so mad, and I get it. But for me, it's like I'm never gonna get that mad, like, because they're all doing it, you know. So
Mm.
I'm of the opinion like I don't care too much. So I don't really think like, oh, what's clean, what's not, because at the end of the day, so many of them are doing it. And like I don't think Connor Manson, those lads are doing it. Like I really don't.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
really, really don't. But if something came out where, he got popped or something, I still wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah,
Just because of the sport, just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, not
yeah.
because of him, not because his coach, not because like I really don't think they are. But if they did get popped, I'd be like, that's yeah. I mean, they're all doing it, so why would he not? Yeah. So
Mm.
what do you think?
About the Provo boys?
No, no, no. About same question that you asked.
Uh,
What the actual clean record?
Man, I have a feeling it could be Mance. I don't know. Haley Gebrselassie. No, he didn't. Yeah, he ran 203 high, I think. Ethiopian. Look, I actually really do believe, because I've been to Kenya many times and Ethiopia, and oh man, this podcast could go on for hours, but I've seen a lot of the people come out of high school there, and I fundamentally believe that a lot of them are freak talents. And I think I viewed a fair few people that were running, 29 minutes out of high school that I'm fairly sure they weren't doping. So I still actually believe that the East Africans are ahead, like in terms of like if doping just didn't exist, or let's just say
Oh,
we went to
there.
let's just say we went to the Hands Games version and it's Wild Wild West, everyone do whatever they want. I still think they'd be ahead.
No, no there.
So what's the world record? Oh, who knows? I really don't know, but I think it would probably still be an East African. Hmm.
What do you make of what's his name? Is it Sawe, the guy that's like really
Yeah,
anti-doping?
Sebastian Sawe.
Sebastian Sawe. What do you make of all that? Whenever I see an athlete doing that, I always get way more suspicious of them. It's
Same.
like, why are you pushing so hard for the like? I don't know. That's just me. I get really skeptical of the ones that are doing stuff like that. Like test me nonstop. Do this. Make
Reminds me
sure
of Lance,
like
doesn't it?
it does. It does. I'm
That's what
always
Lance
like,
was doing. Lance was doing that
yeah,
before he got done.
it's like, buddy, calm down. Like, no one was even saying you were done. Why are you going so hard on this? But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a
Dude,
bit
I don't
weird.
know. I have no idea what it is. I haven't, yeah. The women's one's a good one, because there was even some rumors about, unfortunately, British listeners, I'm sure many would know, there was unfortunately some rumors about Paula Radcliffe back in the day as well. Mm.
Yeah, she did a bit of a Lance Armstrong herself, didn't she? She had that what was it, that abnormal test come out, and then some people in the media were about to publish it, as is their right. And she just went like full Lance Armstrong on them, like from what I've heard, whatever, just straight up abuse, like just like I'm going to burn you to the ground if you post this. And it's like, okay, why are you so aggressive? And it's like, yeah, yeah. I
All
mean,
right.
yeah, who knows? But
Well,
speaking of juicy, our boy Truett Hanes
yeah, let's
got the
transition to something a little
OTQ.
bit more bright, even though Truett
He
Haines
got the
probably
OTQ.
the women's one, yeah.
He got the oh stuff.
Truett Hanes, YouTuber, Austin Marathon. So Truett Hanes, most people would know, he's trying to break the OTQ men's standard in the next 2 years of sub 216. He ran 236 at the Austin Marathon in jeans. Not bad. I did think, yeah, he'd run a bit quicker than that. My prediction was 227.30.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you see his
He went
splits?
out at that pace. He went out at that pace. His first 5K, 10K was around like I think 226, 227 pace. And then the jeans got a bit too chafy, I think.
The slow burn.
Yeah, the slow burn hit him after 10K and he fell apart.
That's early.
It's pretty early to be falling apart. Look, the Austin Marathon course is tough. I get all that. Yeah, but I don't know, man. And then I showed you someone that actually has grit, like the women's winner. She ran 233, I believe. Pretty much soloed it. and she was the winner. And then I looked into her. She's like a 224 runner. She's a mother of four. She's a firefighter. I dug deeper into her stuff. Apparently, she had like a pretty bad year, and she's still rocking up to these races and like just beating the shit out of Truett Hanes and so many other men. And it's like, that's impressive.
Kellen
You know?
Taylor.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's something I could get behind and support. And if she was to do a YouTube but she wouldn't be able to do a YouTube. She seems far too busy, and that's impressive. Some lad rocking up in jeans and putting together a very mediocre marathon. Do you know what was weird as well? I'm seeing all these Instagram pages that are like marathon pages that are quite reputable, and they're all posting about Truett Hanes, about how impressive it was. And to me, it smelled a lot like, I could be way off, but it seems like almost like he's paying these pages to
Oh,
post
you
about.
reckon?
It's too
No.
weird. It's too
I reckon
weird
the
because
pages. I reckon the
there's
pages are
nothing
just trying to.
impressive about that.
No, there's nothing impressive about his time. There's a lot of pages out there, man. Like Sidious Mag even falls into this boat. They just post the positive stuff. People.
The thing,
Kipchoge runs fast. They just pump him up. They don't face the truth. So I think
yeah,
because he broke the world record in jeans, I think his own one maybe he didn't. Could be wrong with that, but I think just because he ran it in jeans, he ran 2:36. I'm fully with you, man. I'm with you. Like a lot of these pages I've unfollowed because they're just like glorifying everything, and
it
I mean
was
that's
very
nice.
strange.
It's good to be positive for sure. Like I'm not doubting that,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm getting at.
Here's my point. A lot of those pages did not make a similar post about the female winner that I just talked about.
Mm,
They
that's
didn't.
interesting.
And that's way more impressive. What she did is so like I said, mother of four, firefighter, crappy year, busy, struggling. And she still, rocks up on a tough course on a tough day and smashes it. And her winner's video, big long stretch of road, and she's sprinting down it to the finish. Truett Hanes nowhere in sight, just
Yeah.
lollipopped, completely dropped. And it's like, why aren't you posting about her? It's either because he's paying them or because they want to do this positive thing and then get like a whole bunch of Truett Hanes supporters just to follow their page and get engagement and
Yeah.
stuff.
I wonder if
And
Haynes has a management group that maybe help him out with this.
that's what I thought, because I was like, man, that's weird that you're posting about this and you're not posting about her, and you're not posting as much about, say, like that guy Whelan that won the men's, or this, like, strange.
Mm.
But I don't know. The more I look at his stuff, the more I realize like that pull-up world record he has, 10,001 in 24 hours. I'm like 99% sure I could do that. Just because of how soft he seems now. The more I look at him, I'm just thinking like, man, there's no way that record has to be. There's no way it's hard. It can't be hard. Like,
I reckon it'd be really hard.
That's what I thought. But then I'm looking at the person that has the record and I'm like, this guy's he's not talented, he's not tough, he's not
Feel free to post some hate down on the YouTube comments here. Go for it, you Truett Hanes fans. I reckon that's hard. I agree. I know what you're getting at. I
think I'd smash it. What is it? 7 a minute for 24 hours? I don't know, man. That seems fairly easy. And the only reason it seems easy is because the person that has it. I was just like, there's no way this can be hard.
There's been some like really elite swimmers that have gone close to it, and they're doing so much in the gym. I don't know. I haven't done enough chin-ups to really know how hard that is, but I reckon it would be pretty hard. But I think we can all agree that for now, Truett Hanes' odds of running the OTQ are quite low.
Yeah. God bless him.
He's having a crack though.
Yeah. He's having a crack. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
Well, nah, speaking of people having a crack, over in Spain, there was a few serious cracks in the half marathon and the marathon, both in Barcelona and in Sevilla.
Great transition.
Yeah, yeah,
three of our main guys race there. Hugo Fry, Ben is running, Ben Felton, Victor Schmangs. Who do you want to
yeah.
start with?
Oh, Hugo.
What the
That was
hell was
crazy.
that?
What the hell? Yeah. He was like, obviously
103.35.
yeah, 103.35 in Barcelona half. And obviously we follow him. And so, he was saying, I'm pretty sure I have a 64 in me. I think he spoke on the Emotional Intelligence podcast with his mate, Callum Goddard. And
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I have this right. I think he said on there that he has a 64 in him, but an absolute like A plus day would be like a 63 something, 63 high. And when he said that part, I was like, all right, mate, calm down. Like you're not going to run 63. And then the next morning, because obviously the time difference, I saw 63 mid. I was like, what the hell? This is crazy. Now fair play to him. That's insane. I messaged him and I was like, I basically said, like, mate, it's like ever since you broke 15 minutes. And do you remember he couldn't break 15 minutes in the 5K for like
Dude,
forever?
okay. I want to
Yeah,
start with
this
his
is the
marathon
point.
before that, though. He ran out of nowhere. He ran CIM no, not out of nowhere. He was obviously running fast last year, but he was not doing multi ultra stuff. He ran CIM, wanted to run 222 and ran 217. That's when he first came on my radar.
But he did run Barcelona 2024 and ran pretty well, I think. I think he ran
Okay.
66 slow or something like that.
Actually, maybe even 65. I think he ran 65 something.
It might have been, yeah. It was a
Yeah.
pretty good time. It was a pretty good
Yeah.
time. So it wasn't like CIM was out of nowhere. I think he had it in him from the Barcelona
You're right.
2025.
Yep.
Pardon me, Barcelona 2025.
Let's get our
He
facts
had
right.
it in him, and then he couldn't piece it together thereafter for a while.
Yep.
He had some ultras, and then he had a couple. I think London was a bit too warm for him, didn't go well. Did he do Berlin? I can't remember, but a few other ones before CIM just didn't go well. But it wasn't like he didn't have it in him, and then CIM went well. So it wasn't quite out of nowhere. I think he just had some bad races after Barcelona 2025. Does that make sense?
You're exactly right. Barcelona 2025, 105.51. And then at
There you go.
Berlin, in pretty warm weather, I ran 223.01. And that was warm that
Yeah,
day. So it's almost
yeah,
like at that point, I didn't know who he was at that point, even though he was well and truly on the gram. And then he went 217.55 at CIM. That's when I first heard about him. And then at the end of December, he ran just under 15 minutes for 5K, which doesn't really line up with 217. 217 is better. And then he ran Valencia 10K in 29:35 or something like that. Let me get the exact time. I got
I think
29:40, 43. That lines
yeah,
up very well with his 217. But dude, 103.35 is a level above all of those times by a long shot. That's the equivalent of like 213 flat marathon.
yeah, yeah.
10K in 28:51 equivalent.
Damn.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any juicy no. uh, I wonder if he's got any juices.
Speaking of juice, no,
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 no.
no. I don't think so. I don't. I think he's a talented lad, and it's one of those things, right? I remember a while ago. Do you remember Ben Felton? Ben is running. Did that podcast with Callum Elson and another one of their mates, the Run It Three
Tom
Way.
Follin.
Yeah, that's it. I used to listen to that quite a bit. I really liked it.
Why'd they
And they've
stop?
stopped. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, they've stopped. And I remember listening a while ago. This is a good while ago. And Callum was giving Ben a bit of a hard time. He was like, look, if you have, I can't remember the exact goal, so I'm not going to say it. But if you have this goal, whatever goal it was, he was like, you're not going to make it without a coach. He was like, you have to you can self-coach to a certain degree, but those goals that you just said, whatever they were, they're too far out there to just do it self-coached. Like you need a legit coach. And I think, you're seeing that with like Hugo now. Like he clearly has a good coach that he likes and respects and follows. And it's just kind of all clicking now. But it was like I was saying, I messaged him when I was like joking, and I was like, man, it was like as soon as you ran sub 15, it was just like that's it. That 3 minutes a K, give or take a second or two, either way, like that's it. That's your pace for literally everything now. So like that's your pace for the marathon now at Boston. Just
Yeah.
around 3 minutes a K, give or take a second. Just get after it. But it's crazy though. Like I was saying it tongue in cheek, but it's almost like it's insane. Yeah. Really, really good result.
Very good result. Yeah, he's killing it. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in Boston. Definitely looking forward to it. He seems to have actually gotten kind of fortunate in a way about when he's gone full time, because a couple of years ago, he might not know this, and a lot of people might not know this. About 2 or 3 years ago, getting someone like Precision or Pillar or one of these brands to sponsor you, I know because I was deep in that world for a while. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you needed to be doing promo codes like heavily at that point. Like, otherwise you wouldn't get sponsored by him. And so it looks like he doesn't have to deal with that, which is good because people don't like the promo codes. It's annoying.
Yeah.
So he's one of the first. I don't know. I haven't asked him. It'd be good to have him on at some point and ask him more specifically about this, about like how does that financial thing work? Because not a lot of non-pros, even though he's actually pretty close to the pros now, get sponsored on a retainer like he appears to have. So 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know if that would have been possible.
I think
Because
a big
I
part of
dealt
that,
I
though,
dealt with almost every brand out there at that point.
yeah,
Because when Sweat Elite Channel grew fast, I had brands everywhere and still do. And yeah, I don't like the idea of it being owned by a brand, because then you sort of influence in ways that I don't like. But he's he's fortunate in a way that he's fallen into that era. Yeah,
yeah.
it's good. I think brands should do more of that. Yeah,
I think a big part of that is the change, and the main reason for this part of the podcast now is like the change in the rumfluencer world, you know? He
yeah,
just has such a massive online presence now that you can kind of bridge that gap between, obviously his times are fast, but they're not as fast as actual, elites. And you can kind of bridge that little gap between if your if your online presence is so big and so popular and so successful in his instance, and brands can just be like, yeah, this is worth it.
yeah, yeah. Even when we were doing YouTube stuff, because at one point around one of my series is I was having a hard time knowing how to deal with the sponsors, because there was sounds like I'm bragging, but there was so many that were interested, and they all wanted to do promo codes, and I was just like, oh man, like I just want to be able to do this without doing the promo code thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, shout out to Gabriel Smith, influencer on Instagram. He ran a PB, 71 minutes, legend of a bloke. Carmichael Caldwell, legend of a guy. He ran 76 PB. I think it might have been just off his PB. Perhaps it was PB, but great follow on Instagram as well. Victor. So Victor paced. Oh, we haven't even spoken about Ben, but Victor did message me yesterday after he ran 65:22. He messaged me with his heart rate data, saying that his heart rate was a specific number, but the time was still 65. I don't think he went all out though, but still, I'm looking for the results.
Why do you think? What? Oh, sure. Why do you
Yeah.
think he sent you the heart rate data? Do you think he
I,
was taking the piss with you? Do you think
I
he was
wasn't
just
sure. No, I love Victor. He looks like he's in shape, and his heart rate did look
no,
good.
no, that's not what I'm saying. But do you think he was like, that's not what I'm saying. I know he's in shape. What I'm saying is, do you think he was like, "Use lads are always slagging people that are like so about this," and so he was just like, ah, here's my heart rate data, just as like a gag. 'Cause that would be funny. That would be hilarious if he did that.
I'm not sure which angle he came at, but it could have been that one. But if he came at the other angle, he's sort of leaning it more into my point that like
Yeah.
we don't. I mean, Marty even messaged me because I was talking to Marty that day, and I told Marty that Marty's you'll see him soon. He's racing in Osaka.
Yeah, he
I trained with him
messaged
here, and Marty said, "Ask him when his lactate results come back from the lab."
me. Uh,
Look,
yeah.
Victor, I hope he runs well. My heart's cheering for Victor. we just want to see the times on the board, right? And I think he was actually pacing Ben this time, so I don't think he was actually going all out. But
No, yeah, I'm 90% sure he was just pacing just to
yeah,
get Ben to sub 65, and they got close, ran really well.
yeah,
Ben, they didn't quite get it, but Ben ran a really big PB, which, yeah, he's definitely in shape to go sub 220 now.
oh yeah,
At Rotterdam, definitely, without a doubt.
yeah.
Touch wood, as long as, he doesn't pick up an injury, illness, or anything silly. Um, yeah, should be smooth sailing from here until Rotterdam to get sub 220. No problem for him.
I think 105. Let's have a look. 105.22 gives us a V dot of 216.49. That is Ben is running's goal.
There you go. Yeah, I think he'll go out right at that, 319 a K pace. And
That's 219.
yeah, yeah. I bet that's what he'll do. Just go out kind of right. The goal is sub 220, go out at that, and then if he feels good, crank it.
Mm.
As the Ks, the miles go on. That's what I'd do if I was him. There's no point in going out at 216, 217 pace. Just break that barrier, because it's not just a physical one, it's a mental one as well. Break that barrier. And then 319 a K should feel pretty damn good for the first 25 Ks, 30K, and then get racing the last 10K.
Dude, I'm going to circle back to Ben is running in a minute, but Phil Sessamon just put out his first video.
Yeah, he just did it. Yeah, I couldn't
Oh
watch
yeah,
it.
it was like an hour or two before we recorded. And he said that moving forward, he doesn't want to set strict time goals because he realizes how powerful it is to be aware of groups running and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And so I think Ben would almost be better off. We're saying this, we're not his coach, but I think he'd be better off chilling and just being like, well, somewhere between 315 and 319 a K, just get in the group and coast and relax and switch off, and then see what's up at the end.
100%. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that heart rate, that's for sure.
Because he stops at every porta potty to prick his finger for the lactate. No, I think that's the way to go, because you can just tell the way he celebrated his Chicago of, what was it, 222, I think.
Yeah.
If he breaks 220, you can tell that'd be amazing for him. So yeah, if he can just chill at that 319 a K, I think that's the way to go. But,
yeah, agreed.
We're not his coach, so we'll see what he does.
Yep. Do you see or watch anything else in the last week? You were pretty busy getting ready for Japan.
Ellis ran 210 low.
Yeah.
Which is good, at Sevilla. And then Sarah Aston, I think her goal was sub 230, but she ran 235. I think she had a tough time of it. But no, that's brilliant for Ellis. I know he wanted sub 210, but he ran 210 low, and it's pretty good, for your first crack at it, especially when you're a 10K guy. And yeah, I think he was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Yep. You don't watch Floberg stuff, do you?
No, I said I would after the last one. I need to start watching it again. Yeah.
No, you don't need to. I just thought, yeah. I mean, do you find it a little bit? I guess he's quite. You don't seem to like. At least you don't seem to.
It's a little too edited.
Yeah, it's a bit too cinematic.
A little too. Yeah, I really do respect, because obviously that's his background, right? We talked about this. I respect how good he is at it, the cinematography and videography and stuff. But it's just a little too, I really we spoke about this, you're going back on the YouTube, which I love. That's how we became friends, from watching Sweat Elite and watching not only the Sweat Elite, OG videos of getting to the track with pros and stuff like that, but your own videos when you were doing the sub 220 project for Berlin. And that's the style I like, just raw, just little to no music, just wake up, here's the pre-race meal or the pre-workout meal. Here's the workout, some raw footage of the workout. Here's me chatting about it, just boom, boom, boom. Like that's what I like.
Yeah.
But I do respect like the other stuff for sure. Like, and I'll watch it. It's not like I hate it, but my preference is that kind of more raw, and then it would be like a Flowberg style or whatever. After that,
Yeah.
then at the very, 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 very bottom is the gym bro-y stuff that has absolutely no meat on the bones. It's just
Yeah.
nonsense.
You're turning me off Truett Hanes, man.
Good. That's the goal. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Uh,
I'm joking. And I don't. You know what? I was about to say I'm joking
Go
about
on.
the 10,000 pull-ups, but you know what? I'm actually not joking. I reckon I have it in me.
I reckon you do. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're about to do it while you are training for a sub 220 marathon in the next couple of years, but we'll see.
Who
Yeah.
knows? I'll give it a crack one morning.
Yeah. I do wonder,
In between
speaking of like,
deposition.
yeah, exactly. I do wonder if Jake, speaking of like YouTube, styles and content, I do wonder if his style of editing is sustainable over the long run.
Jake Barraclough. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Mm.
point. Yeah, because of, well, what's your opinion? I have my opinion on what's
I
your
don't know.
opinion of why you think it's not so
He's
sustainable?
well, he has been firing for a while, but I don't know. At some point, because it's not. I don't know. No, I think it will be sustainable for at least another year or two. Of course, he's got the whole like injury. Well, we all do. Potential injury getting in the way, but his risk is higher, obviously, because of the way he's training, which is working for him. But I don't know. I think I tend to agree with you that I quite like more like vlog style. In fact, one person we haven't spoken about yet this week, Cole running, I reckon he's killing it at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah, I really like his videos. Again, that's like exactly like your videos of the past, like the vlog type, just here it is going into the week, and then he'll put his splits here at the video and he'll talk about why he did this, why he did that. Like,
Mm.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And he's in really good shape as well, looking like
He
really
is.
good shape.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Do you know what actually I really respect about him too? And I'm sure there's a part of like, he's not getting flown over and maybe, cost or whatever. I'm sure that's part of it. I don't know him personally. But he's not fussed about going over to these fancy Seville races and Barcelona races, and he'll rock up to like some crappy, half marathon in like the countryside in England where there's like two other lads that are near his level, and that's about it, and no one else,
Yeah.
and he'll just rip it anyway. And there's a lot to be said for that too. A lot to be said for that, just in
100%.
terms of like grit, because look, I'm not taking away from anyone like say Hugo Fry, perfect example. Not taking away from his times. You still have to run 63. You still have to do that. It doesn't matter if there's hundreds of people around you or no one around you. You still have to do it, which is insane. But there is a lot to be said for the way Cole does it. That he just rocks up to these races, crappy weather, crappy course, no support, and just does it. I really like that about him.
Cole seems to record and film in the moment a lot and just like whatever. You can really tell his personality comes through well. Whereas I think I think that's the same with Jake. But with Floberg, sometimes it seems a bit too planned.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. And that goes back to my preferences, right? I prefer the unplanned. I prefer just,
Real.
you can have a bit of a plan. Obviously, Cole has a bit of a plan. He's like, okay, I'm going to do this work and blah, 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 blah. But it's not so structured that it's just overly polished. And I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cole was actually spitting absolute gold at the end of his video about threshold data and having some parameters, but then being flexible about it and knowing to feel. He actually summed up what you were saying last week really well.
Yeah.
You were saying how
Yeah,
that
yeah.
hybrid approach to like having an idea of the numbers, but like not tying your identity to them so much that it's like limiting you in races and you start to like have numbers make
Yeah.
you freak out of it. Yeah. Which is what happens to a lot of people. No, he was nailing it at the end of his video. Keep it
Yeah,
up, Cole. Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm going to read off my favorite Instagram post of the week by Science for Athletes on Instagram. What if you never push hard enough to see what you're truly capable of? What if you settle? What if you wake up one day, look back, and realize you were always meant for more? But you let comfort win. That's the real nightmare. Not losing, not failing, but never knowing. Never knowing how far you could have gone, how great you could have been, how much more was waiting for you on the other side of fear. That's why you go all in. That's why you don't stop, because the pain of regret will always cut deeper than the pain of discipline.
Truett Hanes would love that one.
So would Nick Bear.
So would Nick Bear. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't love that one, I'll be honest with you. Because that
Yeah.
one's just like, that one's just like, yeah, it's just, it reminds me of those ones. Do you ever see people, they put these inspirational quotes on sticky notes on their mirrors so they can see it? Like, kind of looks like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. I'll find a better one next week.
Gives another one. You have another one, or is that it?
I save a whole lot of them. Let's have a look what else I've got here.
Come on, give us one more. We're not in on that one.
All right.
That was a dud.
Eric Dodds. A trait I've noticed in highly successful people, they're relentless. They get knocked down 9 times and get up 10. They get laughed at and laugh back. They hear no so many times it should break them, but instead it fuels them. They aren't built like everyone else. They grin at the impossible like it's an old friend. They're delusional in the best way. Their energy is contagious, addictive, and intoxicating. You spend time with them and walk away ready to run through a brick wall. They sprint through the fire like it's the most beautiful thing in the world. They don't wait for breakthroughs. They are the breakthrough. They are the relentless ones. They are my kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Still kind of Jim Bro.
Yeah, it is a bit. All right, I'll do better next time with my saving of Instagram posts. I've been watching too much Truett Hanes.
That's it, man. I'm telling you. It's seeping into your brain.
I'm trying to get fired up as I start my training again for hopefully a marathon PB this year. 10 kilos overweight and about to do YouTube, so that'll be fun. Thanks to your prompting as well.
It will be fun. I'm excited because I didn't want you to just wait to do the YouTube while like you're back in shape and stuff. I think it'll be interesting to see the progression, show where you're at, show the progression. I think people really like that.
I'll be brutally honest. The main reason why I've been waiting is one that I would probably prefer to not fully flesh out. But the coaching, there's so much demand for coaching that I'm trying to figure out how to manage that best before we roll out YouTube.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Because YouTube's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just got to figure that out. But my brother's helping me with that, luckily. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. We have another podcast feed, which you can listen to us talk all about our journeys. Luke is in taper week now, leading up to the Osaka Marathon this weekend. So we'll hear from him about how he's tapering, how he's fueling, how he's thinking about his race, where he tries to run as best as he can. His PB is 2:24.53, but we're not too fixed on that. We'll just see how he goes. And I'll talk about my cross training this week as I'm about to start running in the next few weeks. To join us, you can hit sweatelite.co/shareholders. You can find the link in the description of this podcast or YouTube channel. Really appreciate everyone that supports over there. It's a supporters club, $10 a week or $99 a year. And you join a Discord thread too, where you can chat about all things. There's a bit of a discussion all about Jake Barraclough's video as well in there at the moment. So hope you can join us over there. Otherwise, we'll speak to you again next week.